Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all viewers across YouTube, Spotify, and every other platform you're streaming this from. This is the Iron Asylum podcast. I am IFBB Pro Sam Pearce, and I have a very special guest in today, someone I know personally who I've done a lot of work with throughout my social media, and she's helped me a lot, especially with the opening of the gym. Olivia Hodge from Envy Social and Co. I was going to get that right.
You tried that so hard.
I know. I was on a good start. She's over from Perth. She's moved back to the Gold Coast. Although she says she wouldn't come back. What brings you back?
I just want to be around family and friends. I strive more on the coast. There's a lot more pressure here to do well, so it makes me work harder for what I want.
Why'd you have anxiety last time I spoke to you? Remember? Like start of the year?
Oh, because I don't want to be wound up on all the shit.
Yeah, I guess that's the Gold Coast. Do you ever get that over in Perth though?
No, you don't. You don't get anything over in Perth. Perth's so quiet. It's a very different lifestyle. Like there's not really a fitness industry and stuff like that over there, and I didn't really find anyone with a similar drive or connect or like business. I didn't find anyone motivating, so it was really hard to do it.
Sucks if you're living in Perth right now listening to this.
Yeah, sorry, Perth guys. You know, they know the feeling. I'm telling you, there's not one person.
Nothing personal.
No.
So how are you going being back here?
Good. It's been good settling in. It feels like I never left. Probably the best thing. The biggest thing for me was like family. I got nieces and nephews who are growing up. And then, now it's just getting back.
Besides high profile clients like myself, very, very high profile. You work probably with a majority of your clients are from here, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say Melbourne's starting to take over a little bit. Yeah, I've got a lot of Melbourne. And I got a lot overseas coming through now. So I do have a few on the coast, which is good. The coast, Brisbane, and then, Melbourne's
in. Because right now you said your engagement is 90% female, yeah?
Yeah.
That's why I purposely trained before we did this today. I'm incredibly shallow like that, like I text you. But no, look, in all serious, like you're really good at what you do. I like doing, work with you when I'm good for it. What got you in all this?
I used to do marketing for plastic surgeons. So I used to actually do all the ads and advertising and stuff for plastic surgeons. And then when I started dabbling in competing myself, it was a little bit more creative and a little bit more enjoyable being in an industry that I enjoyed and I knew about, and like I followed my own journey. So I knew how to track it, I guess.
But, I mean, you're around it so much. And like, I love seeing all your stuff you post out. Just for me, when I chat to you, you always got bombs for me, or you always, even just stuff I save it for myself.
Yeah.
I never go back and look at it because I'm hopeless like that. But I look at it, I'm going to save it, I'm going to look at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're one of the people I save. How are you finding all this kind of stuff out? Like you mentioned to me just before, like warning Instagram's going to crash or shit itself, like how do you find these things out? What have you got for us today?
I do a lot of research, so I guess it's my job to internally research things all the time.
Do you mind if I just cut you off? When you say you do a lot of research, how do you research something that's unknown? Because from my point of view, I've always seen as like people, talk about algorithms, they talk about this, and you've always made the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Hence why I work with you. But, how do you dip and dive into something? Do you just go through your own client base, or do you go like how do you research that kind of stuff?
So I base a lot of research off, I guess, performance of a lot of profiles on a different basis. So not everyone's profile is going to perform the same. It's kind of like somebody's body. You're not going to be able to give someone the exact same macros, the exact same exercise and everything that come out at the end. But watching the trends of like what performs, what doesn't perform, watching what trends in different niches and stuff like that. It's close protocol of watching multiple accounts and then averaging it over the time. There is ways that you can set up, insights into different things. I'm subscribed to a lot of like business to business updates, which is Instagram internals. Again, it's not guaranteed, but once you read analytics for so long, you can kind of grasp what's going on.
So you can more see trends.
Yeah.
Kind of like someone, would you say a similar approach to like stock market or crypto? Like it's not certain, but you can kind of see trends happening and you kind of go down that path, yeah?
Yeah. The only shitty thing with Insta is it's someone sitting up there deciding that they're going to make changes and not tell anyone. So when they're about to launch something new, shit will start underperforming, stuff will stop, performing the way it was before, and then something new will come out like Reels or something like that.
I listen to I watch a lot of stuff. I follow a lot of big time influencers like, Gary Vee and all that kind of stuff. And they're just like, put in more effort, put in more effort.
Yeah.
To me, that's pretty broad though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more effort I put into it, the more shit I go.
Yeah, of course.
And then dumb stuff that I just put on, not dumb stuff, but just stuff that I just kind of thought, I'll just post this up because I've got nothing to post.
Yeah.
Goes viral and I get 1.2 million views on TikTok.
Yeah. It used to be very, I guess, structured, and it used to be like, quality content. It used to be planned content, and it used to, people wanted to see videos that were mashed together and professionally, I guess, edited. And then now it's more relatability. Like, you got to be relatable. You got to be straight off the back. Like, and they like to see that raw side, and they like to see like, oh, this is funny, or this is cool, or this is personality. At the end of the day, human to human, we relate to personalities and personas.
So how do you go down the path of like raw? What's raw? Because I don't know. Like I see someone like Gary Vee say you got to put in effort. So to me, effort is putting on a background to your reel, because reels are trending at the moment, which I feel they're kind of being phased out. Captions and stuff in the video, music, editing and all that kind of stuff that you can do on your phone.
Yeah.
Get someone professionally do it, but the apps on your phone now are so good, you can do a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And am I right with what you just said then, that you're thinking they're kind of dipping away from that, going to a more raw perspective? What is a raw perspective? What's raw?
I'd say raw is like vulnerability. So showing that vulnerable point of view in a social platform, which can be really hard for people. And it can also be away from like posting what you think people want to see and just posting what you feel like you want to post. So like, having a shit day and having a laugh about it and stuff, it's going to have relatability. Doing a raw check-in where you're just like standing there tired as shit and stuff like that, it looks so much better than staged, get the camera out, do my hair, you can do your hair. All those things. It looks so much better and people relate to it a lot more now. I think it's a lot of the mental health side of things comes into social media, that pressure that gets put on. So when they see a video that's been quickly recorded, thrown together, they know it's organic. You haven't staged it. Just like what we were saying before, you don't script it. You just get it done and it's coming straight from, whatever's going on your mind. It is, I think people want to see that people are humans and they're not robots these days.
Yeah, okay. So, like we all have a laugh at SAMY Q&A. Would you say that's more raw?
Yeah. I laugh at your Q&As all the time. Like whenever I see them, I'm like, yes. And normally people's Q&As I click off because I'm like, I don't want to know how to track macros, and I'm sick of hearing that peanut butter's high on fat and shit. Like everyone has the same shit in their question boxes. But yours is funny. Like I used to do a gossip box on my personal, and I used to get like 4,000 views when I did a gossip box, and people used to drop some really fucked up shit.
What's a gossip box?
They can like drop any point of gossip, and I won't spill who it is, but I'll share it and share my opinion.
It's like that anonymous thing that's going around at the moment, The anonymous questions.
That's just how to bully people in a gutless way. Like that's like Ask FM.
I thought that too, because I'm like, if I get the fucked up questions that I get,
imagine what they'd be like on
anonymous.
But do you know what I think's shit as well? Like, why do people share that? Like, if you've got people following you who actually want to put some shitty stuff in that box, you're an idiot for opening up to it.
Yeah, but I was talking to a dude last week, and he was, you could tell he was upset about it. But I said to him, dude, that means they're watching you.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like a...
Yeah.
It means they watch every single thing that you do.
And then drop
closely.
Something in there, yeah.
And as soon as they've got the chance to drop it, they drop it. But it just means there's people that are watching you, you don't even know they're watching you.
Or it means you're doing well and they want to bring you down because that's the only reason they do it.
But say stories, we said the question and answer, right? But people are watching this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking for myself here too, because, I'm not a social media expert. It's not one of my strong points.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that I'm asking questions, they're not scripted, but the questions I'm asking, which I'm sure everyone else is thinking, right?
Yeah.
So you go from the story side of things where you say, I'm doing a good job with the raw side of things, yeah? So then how do you transfer that into a post, and how do you know what posts are what? Because, it's also, again, I'm not a tech wizard. So, do you put up a video, or do you put up a reel, or do you put up a picture post? And how do you make them essentially raw?
Yeah.
I'm not just speaking in a fitness influencer way. I know there's very broad questions, but you can relate to someone, you can relate to me. I don't really care how you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's hard, because I feel the biggest problem for posting is probably what I do, and you see 90% of people, they think too much into it and they go, I'll post it later, then they never post it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So cure that confusion for the viewers. How do you make something raw?
So for a good example, like when you're posting to Instagram, like the biggest main thing that people screw up with is they don't know why they're posting. So like if you're posting for leads or you're posting for clients or you're posting for likes, like you got to know the goal of what you're posting for. If you're, putting a video together and it's training and you're expecting a shit ton of likes, I'm going to laugh at you because it just doesn't really happen. Like if you're putting a training thing up, you got to have that expectation of, okay, giving out education, want them to save it and share it, stuff like that. So setting that, I guess, point of what you want from that post, what you're going to expect from that post so you don't get disappointed, so you don't post again. When it comes to raw sort of stuff, I think the more you overthink it, the stupider it starts to sound. So when you're sitting writing a post for 2 hours and then it starts to sound shit, it starts to get stupid, and a post up is better than like no post at all. So if you're going to post and get it done. The biggest thing these days is like having the right audience on your page. So if, for example, you were to post just muscle videos all the time, you're going to get a lot of gays. It's just a given. That's what they love. They froth it. There's not a lot of women who are going to be sitting there glocking over it and be like, oh my God, I love your quad separation.
I fucked up, didn't I?
We can tell by the Q&As.
Yeah, I really fucked up. You know what? That's actually why I got into all this, because I thought curls get the girls.
Oh, they get the bros.
They get all the fucking
bros. Do you know
bros.
what though? Like the good thing is they engage. Like I was saying to you before, just start an OnlyFans, Muscle Madness. They love that sort of stuff. Sell your underwear and shit.
I've had people ask me that.
Yeah, I won't tell.
You've probably seen my DMs, yeah.
Sam Iron Sam instead of Iron Man. But it can come down to relatability and knowing your audience. Like you posting, a raw, I guess, non-edited video or whatever, if your audience is a bunch of gays, they're probably going to be like, nah, like that's the whole point of it, is aligning everything as one. I wish it was an easy answer, but it's not. It's different to every single person. Some people are, they don't have much to be raw about unless.
So you need to be raw to your niche.
Yeah, you got to kind of be like your brand, and anything that you're working with should align with you 100%. If it doesn't, you got problems,
So something scripted would be like you see someone's story and they say, hey guys, I'm so busy at the moment. I've only got 5 spots left for coaching.
Yeah.
To me says you've got no clients.
Yeah.
Is that something you would look at? Like, do you look at certain posts, right? Relationships are the best one. When you see someone posting about their man or posting about their girlfriend, straight away I'm like, they're in a bad spot.
Yeah. I think overcompensation shows really quickly. There's strategies and then there's overcompensating. So like there's a strategy to, showing your partner in a photo and it looks all nice and it's good, like you're just out to dinner. And then there's a strategy to putting a post up being like, I love them so much. They add so much to my life. They make me, they make you feel like shit clearly. Like it's like no one posts that if they're legitimately feeling that about their partner randomly. I could just text someone that, like, you don't need to post.
But I used to put up stuff with me and Naya, my daughter, and ever since that video went real viral on TikTok, I actually pulled back a bit because I'm like, man, I actually don't want people.
Dad life.
Yeah, like, I want people to, obviously being a dad's a big part of my life and I'm proud of my daughter, but like I'm very selective on what I put up now because now I'm like, 1.2 million people saw that.
That's a lot of people.
So yeah, I mean, when I structure my posts, right, or if someone was to come through and structure their posts, too much explanation is the problem as well, as what you're saying?
It can be, yeah. Like at the end of the day, if you're selling a service, there needs to be trust. So if you're selling PT or fitness or, mental health healing or whatever, there needs to be trust. You need to be able to show that you can do what you can do. So that's clearly not going to be a vulnerable post. That's not going to be a raw post. That's going to be an educational based post, which is great. They get shit interaction, but they're great. Like they need to be there to teach people to trust you. And there just needs to be that good balance in between the two of like life, who you are, what you do, and then your education purposes as well.
I do like, look, to be honest, with all these algorithms and it's getting harder and harder, I do like it because in the past, and you can speak for me again on this, social media was the ability to polish a turd. Correct?
Yeah.
And I just think it's just stopping that.
Yeah. It's definitely like, so they're putting restrictions on reading people's behaviors online, which is good and bad. It's good because you got a lot more privacy, and it's bad because I can't just talk into my phone and say Nike runners and they give me an ad, so I don't have to Google it anymore. But
so they're stopping that?
Yeah, that's stopped now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. So now they can only base stuff off what you're clicking on, which is where shit goes pear. Because if I'm sitting in a mood looking for a puppy and I'm like, hell yeah, like I love this dog's cute, liking reels left, right, and center of dogs, then my explore page changes to dogs. Everything I see changes to dogs within a day. So it's making sure content aligns properly with what you want to do. Like, don't just start dabbling in some recipes if you don't want anyone coming to your page for a recipe. Like it's really hard now. Like it needs to be. This is where I guess knowing what your intentions are with Instagram and knowing what you're trying to get out of it comes in to a big
Are you speaking across all social media, not just Instagram?
Yeah. So okay. Facebook's a really hard market in general. To be seen on Facebook, it's really difficult unless you're paying for it. But Facebook and Instagram are sort of intertwined, so it works in roundabouts. TikTok is probably the most unpredictable app you will ever touch in your whole life, but shown on a basis of what you engage with. They are playing around with that at the moment, so you will get some random shit in there. Again, it's just so unpredictable. Like, no one's got any reference on how TikTok works other than you might get shown on a For You page, 2 times. You might get shown 1,000,000 times. It's just random.
Yeah. Okay. But what's your opinion on moving across all platforms, though?
I say it's better to be on all platforms just to, any reach is better than no reach. So.
Yeah. So you're open to someone that could be there rather than not being there at all.
Yeah, and you might meet with someone or you might meet someone in a cafe. I actually met someone at the shops on the weekend and their first question was like, do you have TikTok? Do you have a business TikTok? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And that's because I just don't have time to do it. But it's like everyone measures trust in different places. You might meet someone out, you might meet a girl out and she might go, do you have a TikTok? And you give her your TikTok instead of your Instagram, So it's like everyone is on different platforms. You got to stretch your brand to be known in those platforms. And it's easy enough to say, and I seen someone's story the other day and they were saying that TikTok's like got 12-year-olds and stuff on there. TikTok also has a huge older audience. My mum sits on TikTok.
I've heard this, yeah.
If she's seen something on TikTok that said it would make her look 50 years younger and lose 20 kilos, she's like, hell yeah, take my money. Like she just, it's different audiences and everyone's there now. It's no longer a kiddie app. It's an everyone app. So you've got to be across it.
Is your point of business mainly working with, you said influencers like, OnlyFans and online coaches? Is that your main source of business now?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I do. Like I hit a lot of small businesses as well. So like hairdressers, beauty and stuff like that. And then my personal page that's about to launch will be all courses for, I guess, more so people coming into business and social media who don't ideally want like that one-on-one sort of structure, but it is majority, I guess, fitness niche.
Okay. So if you're talking fitness niche, with someone, how can I explain it? I'm trying to say something without repeating myself because I asked you a similar question before. With your fitness niche and where the direction of social media is going, okay, and on top of other businesses, how do you correlate that between them? Because with you told me before you started off in, was it cosmetics?
Plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery, yeah. Mm-hmm. So how do you know where to post and what to post and how to, engage these people to these different types of businesses in their different niches and industries?
So each account that I ever get or someone that comes, I do all external research like competitors, trends, stuff like that. So when I map a niche, which is ideally where I come into everyone's play, when I map a niche, it's like trends, where I predict trends to go, which is just watching kind of like what we were saying before, the stock market. So watching what's come in and gone out and come in and gone out tends to rinse and repeat quite quick. And then pretty much practicing what we preach and seeing how it goes. Every account is different. I could, have your account and then have another gentleman in the exact same space as you. Yours could work really well. His could be absolute dog shit. And
so in bodybuilding, we say you got shit genetics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you say to that? Does Instagram just picked you out because you're unlucky and you're fucked now, or what?
It's normally your audience. So it's normally like if I ever have clients come to me and they go, I give them everything they need to do week to week, engagement and everything. They come to me and they go, I'm not growing. There's 2 things. Alignment, meaning our content doesn't match with who we're speaking to at all. So they might have a group of 50-year-olds watching their shit and we're being like, do you want a time save hack going to uni? Who the hell's going to uni at 50?
Yeah, okay.
So
I getcha.
It comes down to you could have had a personal page before being like a bodybuilding model and now you want to start selling handbags. Doesn't align. No one cares about your handbags. Okay. So it's very like that's where people fuck up. or they buy followers and then they screw their shit.
Yeah, I've heard of that part, which I think everyone else has. Now, talking on the followers part, these days you probably say followers aren't as important anymore.
Yeah, no.
And would you also agree that, or if you could explain to us probably why that is?
Yeah.
But going back onto the next question after that is, I've seen some people lately being hacked and they've lost their accounts, which I'm sure you've dealt with. But I've actually had some good feedback from them coming out because they might have lost a 60,000 account or 150,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
But them starting fresh is actually better because now they know what to post and where to post, and it's actually a better engagement for them. Like I've seen, like I saw another guy, you know, I think he actually just deactivated his account. He started again. He's only got like 3,000 followers. He used to have like 200.
Yeah.
And he's only got like 3,000 now. But, you know, he's making a lot more money in the online coaching space because I think the 3,000 that he has is, you know, very suited to what he has.
Yeah.
So is that a possibility for people? Like, would you just say, look, it might be better for you to start again and build from scratch?
I've got a lot of people, I guess, still attach to that follower number. So they think, you know, oh my God, so many followers, trust this, and this. But in a higher point, if you've got, say, 30,000 followers, if your reach is 1,000 per post on average and, you know, you're getting ranked as a shit performing profile, you won't get seen. Like, it's not going to show you. If your engagement percentile is super low for your following, good luck growing. Like, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get shown on the right pages. You're not going to hit explore. They're actually feeding into smaller performing counts these days.
Are they?
Under 10,000s tend to do really well at the moment. That's with reels, that's with, you know, reach and stuff like that. They are pushing them really hard because they tend to be the ones that haven't fucked up their systems. Their relatability is there. Their audience is really niched and they're frothing it. Like, they love it.
Does Instagram catch on? Because I suppose some people would probably catch on to this as well, like what you just said, and they go through and call it a backup account. Does Instagram recognize that?
No, unless you've got like, well, you can't do same mobile number, but they can track IPs, but they don't really flag them. Do you know what I mean? Backup accounts are pointless unless you're going to work on the backup account as hard as what you're going to work on your normal one.
Just from what you said, I'm thinking about just fucking my Instagram off and just starting it again.
You could start a separate, it depends what your goal is with your Instagram, but you could start a separate page.
Well, I think, you know, depends what my goal is. Instagram for me is just a business front. I can happily, I haven't posted for like 5 days. I can happily not post. Like, it's not a, you know, just because I wanted a break over the last week, my phone screen time was down 1 hour and 45 minutes on average.
Yeah.
So I went from 6 hours down to 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd be all social media.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have a love for it. You know, people just sit there and watch it and people are addicted to it, you know, like, which we all are to some point. But no, for me, it's like it's just there to make money. It's my business. It's you know what I mean?
It's crazy because everyone always says to me, like, oh, you must love Instagram. You must love. I absolutely fucking hate. Like, I hate social media with a passion. If I could disappear tomorrow and it still mean I still get paid, see ya. Like, that's a big point here. But it is, it's a great thing for a brand. It's a huge thing for a brand now. You know, no matter what industry you're in, it's how you show who you guys are. A website is one thing that's great. I don't even look at people's websites these days. Like, I want to see your personality. I want to see, are we going to mesh? I want to see, like, are you funny or not, you know? And that's where the correct posting comes in. And it's just, I guess it just depends these days what people want. I did speak to a client the other day. She's actually pregnant at the moment and her page has started to underperform because she's pregnant, which, you know, I think is mental because when a girl falls pregnant, you're not a retard. Like, yeah, you're growing a baby, but you're not a retard. You're still capable.
Is that because she had too many male followers?
No, her ratio was actually good. That's the crazy thing, but it's because they're no longer relatable to her. You know, you might have females sitting on there who don't want kids or they're, you know, can't conceive or whatever.
The age bracket also might be different as well.
Yeah, and I feel like the mum niche is a mum niche. Like, that's a completely different world. But it's also like they look at her and they no longer see relatability. They look at her and see, you know, pregnant woman, oh, no, I don't relate. And it's funny because I do the exact same thing to some people. I'm like, oh, pregnant, I don't like your content. You know, oh, you got heaps of kids? Nah, probably not. Not because I don't like kids. I'm just not relatable to it. I can't watch your video at night of you making dinner and then you go, and here's my kids' dinner, you lost me.
Yeah.
So it's a very big world of sitting in that. And I recommended to her, make a personal account to do all your personal updates, you know, bump updates and stuff. keep your business account and educate. And that's what she's doing now, which I think is a great place because people can't judge her straight off the back of being pregnant. They can just judge her off face, like her front value of her education.
It's funny because I do the same thing. I do, like, but does Instagram notice those things as well? As far, I'm saying social media. I keep saying Instagram, but social media. Does social media notice these things where for example, I have this thing where I'm terrible at engagement, right? So I'll do like good posts and stuff, but like I'll get like fucking 30 comments. I don't reply to any of them, which I should be. You know, people that are doing that who are lazy like myself, the only engagement I do is when I do scroll. The other thing too, I don't even look at people's shit. It's just if I follow them, I just like it because it's like I'm following. I'm not going to.
You commented on mine the other day. Saved. I was like, oh my God.
Actually, I did do that because I do actually listen to your ones, but everyone else, you know, some people said to me like, "Oh, you like that post?" I'm like, "Oh, did I? I don't have another one." Because if I'm following them, I just like it. You know, I'm not going to sit there and go, "Do I like that?" No. But is it bad if you scroll past people? Is it bad if you don't reply to comments? Is it bad if you don't reply to your direct messages and all that kind of shit?
It's like replying to comments. So replying to comments on a photo, like say you upload a photo, you get 30 comments. If you don't reply to those comments, you get 30 comments, which isn't terrible. But if you do reply, Instagram just flags you as 60 comments. Do you know what I mean? So it actually increases your engagement rate. And that's why when people do it, I'm like, reply quickly if you can, or reply in general, because it increases the engagement on that post, which means Instagram will rank it as high performing.
So speed is important as well.
Well, ideally within like, you know, the first few hours of getting it posted, if say you get 5 comments, you leave it at 5, but then say you jump on and reply really quickly, it ranks it as 10. So Instagram then goes, oh, this is getting high performance quickly, keep showing.
Even if it's your comments.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't rank as like, oh, 1 for you, 1 for them. Like it just ranks it as comments. So that's why when some people get spam comments, like, you know, the Forex trading ones, I'm like, leave them on for 24 hours because it carries on as a comment. They don't see it as spam. They just see it as a comment.
So it'd even be smart to reply to that comment.
Yeah, thanks. I love Forex. But that's how it ranks these days. And the whole like liking other people's stuff and everything like that. So you can get, I guess you can get ranked in a sense of like activity levels. If you're not giving much, you're not going to get much. And liking and commenting on other people's stuff is 2 things. Your name getting shown in more places. So if you're commenting on, you know, someone's post and someone else seeing that and then Nebby like what I am and I'm like, oh, who the fuck's that? Click, you know, you got a view. They're then looking at your content. They might follow you. So again, that's like not more so that it performs better, just puts your name in more places for free. And then engaging with other accounts, it's mostly to get it back. So ideally it's like you engage and hope that when they see that your post, they're like, oh, he likes my pics all the time. I'm going to like his pic. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't rank you in any way other than your singulated posts, the engagement on that. DMs, it doesn't really rate them either.
Right, okay. Yeah, interesting. So moving right along then, you said you hate social media.
Yeah.
What did you say before?
If I could disappear, I would.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I'm like that as a coach.
Are you though?
Yeah.
All right. I'm like that. I'm getting a lot better than that. And it's not because I don't want to do it, but it's because when I do post, the amount of applications I get is stupid. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm applications to work with me. And then like my flow picks up too quick. And I'm like, oh my God, like dial it back. And the only reason I can dial it back is by not posting.
So this is where I was going. Someone like you with a heavy growth rate, it's very easy for everyone to see, you know, you're growing very quickly. You're doing a really good job with everyone. And I know some people personally that you work with, you know, so how does someone like you scale to something bigger when you're already pretty well capped?
I've got things in the mix now. So like releasing courses, masterclasses, stuff like that. So it's like not me directly. Prices will increase as I do that as well. So that it sort of maps me with less time. I already made major changes to my packages. So I actually have the one-on-one calls less. So I've got more time. But yeah, and I'm looking at employing and then mentoring someone to be under me. But it's a trust thing. Like people, they ask all the time when I sign them up, do I speak to you? Like, do I get you? And I'm like, yeah, you get me. But I get it because if I signed up with you for a coaching and then you just pass me, you know, some young kid, I'd be like, what the hell? I want Sam to coach me. Yeah. So it's finding ways to get people in that trust factor as well or taking my time away. So I feel like courses, masterclasses, stuff like that. And then just making that more exclusive on my coaching.
So you're going more masterclasses as in, the coaching side, or, stocks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go down the ebook side, the virtual ebook side, right? You're going down the courses side, so you're teaching people without having to physically teach them like you teach me shit, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you get all the same questions. Everything I'm asking you, you've probably heard a million times anyway, right?
Yeah, they're easy questions.
So, so essentially someone out there saying I'm capped, I want to save more time. Yeah. You go down the more automated route.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also like courses. So the courses that I'm first launching are through my personal, because it's more based around, I guess, personal growth and them getting into a predicament that I'm in, because a lot of girls that watch my personal stuff, which it was never meant for that, it was just me putting up stupid shit sometimes. Yeah. They now see the lifestyle, and then they're now like, oh, how'd you do that? Or they used to work with me when I used to work full time, and we all used to be on 50 grand a year, and they're all like, I'm still on 50 grand a year. I want to do this, So it's like, it's more so those courses that build confidence and to get them in the same situation as me, mindset wise. And then my envy is like analytics. So it's like maximize sales, leads, how you are on social media, how to use social media and how to benefit from it. So it comes into two plays. A lot of people fail on socials because they're not confident. So it's kind of like you got to do the one part on yourself, and then you got to do the one part on the actual social media platform too.
Am I confident?
Well, you pumped up before this, so.
Oh, what?
You pumped up before this, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. No, that's insecure.
I feel like
that's being a bodybuilder.
Yeah, there's a fine line between like, I guess, confident and then like thinking you're confident. Like putting pictures up of yourself every single day on social media, it doesn't mean you're confident. But when a client comes to you, they should walk away and they should go, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in, and like I barely have clients apply with me. I don't even speak to a client before I sign them on. Like they get an email if they've been accepted, they pay me some money, and then I speak to them. And that's confidence. That's me being like, I don't need to waste my time talking to you and convincing you to come to me. You either come to me because you want to, and this is how I run my business. Like,
so how did you get your experience in sales so well? Because that's exactly what I do.
Self-taught.
Self-taught.
Yeah, I feel like.
How did you build your own confidence? When did you realize you said I'm fucking good at this?
I still don't. This is a crazy thing. Like I say this all the time. I always say to people, I'm like, I don't really know much about Instagram, but I do. Like I know shit about Instagram, but it's me keeping myself content in the sense of like, I can do better. I can know more. There's always someone out there doing better than me and knowing more than me.
You're always a student.
Yeah. And I feel like the day that stops is the day I'll fail. So like if I lose one client, I have to gain 5. Because I need to have that like, no, you're still good at what you do. It's all good. And it's never personal. People never leave me because of personal reasons. It's normally they've hit their goals, or they know how to do it themselves now, which is my goal with everyone. But yeah, it gets me to the point where like I always got to progress.
There it is. That's the one, is that you teach them everything you have to know. Yeah. Or they have to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be back in 6 months though, because shit changes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But that's a big one that I find on the coaching side of things. Mm-hmm. You deal with it. Yeah, someone leaves and they get so fucking uptight about it, and they get so upset and they unfollow the person. And
yeah.
You see that shit all the time. And I look at them, I'm like, how long are you meant to be coaching this person for?
Yeah.
If they can't do things on their own, you're
not doing your job.
Even a long-term thing like bodybuilding, where it takes a long time to change someone's physique. Changing someone's business, but fuck's sake, if they're relying on you for your advice for any more than 2 years, it's like fuck. I feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Training wheels got to come off at some point. They can still come, as you said, come back to some advice or
And a lot of my clients transition quite quickly. So like they might go through, every week it starts off where they need that. This is what you're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what I need, and then it gradually transitions into a bit more mindset. And then, posting's the easy part for them. Then it's like how do I do this? How do I grow? How am I, now I'm going to this point of getting leads or whatever. What do I do next? So they transition out of that just mentoring to socials into that mentoring for business. And it's a very different market, which is, for me, I like to see it. If my clients are still asking me the exact same questions 6 months in, I'd be worried, So it's me making sure they transition at that speed. And if they don't want to learn and they don't practice what they preach or they're difficult, they get terminated because they just don't have the energy for it.
Terminated?
Yeah.
So you drop people like me?
Yeah. I dropped 15 at the start of the year.
How do you tell them how do you tell them? At the end of the day, if they're not listening, it's just easy to tell them they're not listening.
Yeah, and I think when people start up with me, they get a welcome document. There's a part in there that says success and victory, and it literally says, I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you, the steps. If you don't want to implement them, don't blame me for your shit. Like if I get someone coming to me and they go, I'm not growing, and then I put my staff on to engage the way I'm telling them to engage and it grows, and the next week there'll be a conversation around it of being like, so how does my girl do the exact same that you apparently do, but grows you X amount? And then that's when they tell, oh, well, some days I don't actually do it because I'm with my boyfriend and we're eating chips and stuff. And I'm like, priorities, So it is.
So you cop blame from people?
I used to, not anymore. I got some hefty boundaries now, and it's like, you fuck with me, I get rid of you, like the end. Like they need me more than I need them, and that's how it works. Like I appreciate all my clients 100%, but I do not have the energy to reassure someone every single day of what they need to be doing. And I believe if they're a business owner, they shouldn't need that either. They should be able to grab something from a professional, implement it, and if they can't, we got some issues.
You're a likable person.
I hope so.
You are. I like you. So
that means a lot.
See, I'm not just a cunt after all.
Yeah, well, it means a lot because I swear you never used to when you didn't let me in them clubs.
So you did bring it up.
Yeah, that was rough.
I actually can't remember. I know you were friends of a friend or something like that, but I can't.
Every time I'd come up with my ID at the club, you were like, nah. And I'm like, why? And you're like, nah, go speak to him.
Yeah, I was an arrogant bastard back then. I really was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sorry for it.
That's why when I first had that inquiry call, I was like, oh, but he's such a fucking dick. And then when I spoke to you, I was like, oh, he's actually all right.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because I probably do come across a bit of a arrogant, narrow-headed, straight down the line person on social media.
I think it's more so now people grab that from staying in your lane. Like they grab from, I think they grab intimidation from like staying in your lane, just doing you and being hyper-focused into yourself. Like they all clarify that as arrogant.
But someone like you talking to the things that you're going through, right, and your boundaries, as you call it, and your rules, that's a very alpha mentality because the alpha in any kind of industry doesn't explain actions.
Yeah.
Not sorry for any actions.
Yeah.
It's just the mentality of you knowing your worth.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, and the way I look at it, and for people who listen to this, they're going to be like, why'd you use that as an example? Would you go to McDonald's and tell them how to make your cheeseburger? No. Like they got successful because they make their shit the way they make their shit. You buy it, you eat at the end. Like that's it. So I do my business the way I do my business because it's my profession and that's it. This is how it works for me. You're going to buy into my business. You're a customer. I don't work for you. You're a customer. Like
that's
what
I mean.
client.
As I said, you're a likable person, right? Yeah. And I'm sure people would work with you very closely, and they would assume you guys are friends.
Yep.
And no one ever would be asking for discounts. And maybe in your early days they would, but now
they still do.
Oh, they still do. Okay.
Oh yes.
Well, yeah, people don't ask that with me anymore, but yeah, look, people for the most part would look at you and say, you're worth your value, and all that kind of stuff. But how do you set boundaries with people?
This is actually a course I'm bringing out soon, but
cool.
I think with boundary setting, it comes from life first. Like if you've got no boundaries in your life and people walk all over you, like it's really hard to set those in, a business sense. I think people have a scarce mindset about boundaries. So they've got a mindset of like, fuck, if I set this in, I'm not going to get clients or I'm going to lose clients, but you actually like lose your own value when you start doing this,
Definitely.
When you start mucking around with what people need and people calling the shots. I used to get people text me at 10 p.m. I used to reply because I was a people pleaser. And I was like, oh my God, I don't reply, I'm going to lose this client tomorrow. Where it's like now they know what time I work. They know how long it's going to take to reply. They know I don't reply on the weekends. And if I do, it's because I'm bored shitless. Like, all those boundaries are set, not just be like, not for me, but for other people to take me seriously. No one can take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously. No one can trust you or have confidence in you if you don't have it in yourself. Like, you come into my space, which is my business. This is how I run it.
Do you get called too serious?
Never.
I do.
You know why? Because I'm actually not to my clients. Like, something I pride myself on is building relationships. Mad rapport with every single one of my clients. Like, it's crazy. And that's because when they go through the application process, I do some heavy stalking to be like, we're going to mesh, or no, we're not.
Okay. So, you know, you have good rapport and you build a good relationship. As I said, that's what I mean. Like, you're dipping into someone's life, you know, like, fuck, you got their passwords to their life, to their social media. That's everyone's life now. So, you know, as a coach, you've got to have boundaries, but someone like you, like, you're actually helping them bring out their inner character as such, and you're promoting what they want to be. Well, yeah, like, how do you separate that? That's hard. That'd be fucking hard.
It can be really difficult. And there's clients that I work with who will be lifelong friends. Like, you know, I'd have them at my wedding, probably a few that I'd have at my bridal party. And that's that connection, you know, of, I guess, having their best interest at heart, which I always do. Every single client, I wear my heart on my sleeve with them until they fuck me over. You fuck me over and your heart's in the bin, you know, done. But there's a lot of like give and take. If I get good from a client and they give me their time and they give me that appreciation and that respect, they'll get the top tier best version of me and beyond, you know. They want to give me minimal, I'll match your energy. Like, I'm not here to pull you through whatever you need to come through. I've got girls that I've sent to psychologists. I've got girls that I've sent, you know, you need to work on yourself. Do this, do this. I've got girls who I've counseled out of relationships because you can tell it's shit. Like, there's so much more than just this is what needs to go on your socials, because if it's not matching in life, it's difficult, right? But there's not many, I don't even think I could name any really, clients that I've had that I'm not on good terms with or I've not spoken to ever again or anything like that. I got clients that no matter what I launch, they might pay me a weekly, they sign up to it. Doesn't matter if it's a masterclass, they never expect me to do, hey, you're in for free, nothing. They sign up and they pay, just like everyone else. They don't expect anything, which I think is amazing. It's a respect thing and a value thing.
I bet these aren't your long-term friends that you had before, though.
I don't work with any of my long-term friends that I had before. Not one.
Is that because they don't support you?
None of my actual long-term friends are in the fitness industry or influencers.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Or run businesses.
The biggest surprising I got when I opened my gym.
It was friend discounts?
No, not at all. It's actually the people that, you know, there was people that signed up here first day. I would never have fucking thought they'd come here.
Oh, really? That's amazing, though. It's nice.
I would never have thought, like, I'm not even friends with them. Said hi to them once at the gym. Half of them didn't think they liked me. Because, you know, I walk around thinking, as you said, everyone portrays me as a fuckwit.
I think your image looks that way, and I think it's such a, like, I guess a materialized thing these days, you know, big, muscly, like, must be a fuckwit. And that's such an old school thing. Yeah. Like, that's literally what they think.
Yeah, you know, so that's common. But, you know, it was surprising, but it wasn't, because I was kind of expecting it too, that, you know, when you start a business, people that are friends of yours don't support it.
Yeah, yeah. I actually
I've got friends of mine, so-called friends of mine, that were driving past this place from their house to their own gym. I've never stopped in once. And I don't look at those things as personal, because I'm like, fuck, I don't care anyway. Like, things are going good here anyway.
Yeah, but it's also
it's
like,
good to know those things.
I can't name, like, my good friends who, you know, don't have businesses, aren't influencers and stuff like that. Like, shit, if they could, they would. You know, if it was relatable to them, they would 100%. Like, I've got friends that I've had since I was 3 and grew up with in the UK and stuff like that. Like, they would. If they had a way to relate to it, they'd be like, hell yeah. Something that they do give me, though, is like every post I put up on that business page, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but they're like, love this. This is amazing, you know, and they save it. They've probably got like heaps saved and they don't know what's going on. But that's what I'm like, thank you. Like, you know, it's a tiny thing, but it's a big thing, because there is so many out there who you do think they're friends or whatever, or I've got past clients who I may be friends now, and then they start to take a little bit. They might ring me and might have a, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? Anyways, with business. And I'm like, no, like, get off my phone. you know, like, and that's
So you should.
that mark. Yeah. It's like if one of your friends came to you and they had dinner with you and they're like, oh, anyways, mate, like, do you reckon my macro should be at this? Like, and they slip it in so casually. Sometimes they get me and I'm like, you got me good. Like, I just answered you a $200 question.
They butter you up a little bit.
Yeah. Like, how's business going? You know, I've seen you posting more. Is that helping? Is posting more helping? Like, seeing you been doing reels. Do you reckon I should get on reels? Like, yeah. Or like, they'll be like, did you see that recent one that I did? Do you reckon
how do you
good?
cut that down?
I'm pretty short and snappy. Like, there's a couple where like I make a snidey little joke and they'll be like, oh, I've got a business question. I'm like, it's going to cost you. And then they like laugh. I'm like, serious? Like, and they think I'm kidding. And then most of the time they don't ask the question after that because they're kind of like, oh, fuck. But a lot of the time, like, I think for me, it's sad because I know how much money they got coming in. And I'm like, what makes you think you value my words and my knowledge and my time any less than, you know, anyone else's? Like, why do you think you can call me and be like, hey, with my Instagram, should I do this? Like, you know, I got people who pay me for that.
It's funny. Like, I had a guy who used to work with me in the clubs. He was just a normal guard and I've been seeing him for like 3 or 4 years. He was driving past the gym when it first opened and he just pulled in because he's like, oh, there's a gym here. I live in the area. He's like, this is a pretty hectic gym. Like, you know, who owns this? And they're like, oh, this pro bodybuilder. He's like, pro bodybuilder, I only know one. And they're like, oh, and obviously he said my name. I go, yeah, that's him. And then he's like, well, you know what? I don't need to have a tour upstairs. I've seen downstairs. I'll just sign up just so I can support him. They're the type of things I looked at. And I'm like, it's really cool when you see people that just support you because they genuinely want to support you.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting behind it is that people take things far too personal when they find out people don't want to support you.
Yeah. And I think like if that catches you up a lot, like you need to revisit like that.
Does that reflect on people's social media you find as well?
I get a lot of people who are like, this person unfollowed me. Or like, if you've got one of those apps that tells you who's unfollowed you, get rid of it. Like, if you've got the time to be on one of those apps, get rid of it. And
Thank you.
It's like you seek that personal, I guess, I don't know, confirmation from everyone. And that's where the shit comes in. And I find people who monitor and micromanage that, they got a lot more going on than what's on social media. They got a lot of like.
So they're the ones obviously not confident.
Yeah, they're looking for outside reassurance.
I've never, ever downloaded that to see who unfollows me.
And just an FYI, it fucks your account. But yeah.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. External apps like that, Instagram knows. Yeah, and they hate them. They hate them and you'll get blocked really quickly if you start fucking around with it. So like you can monitor it and it knows you're monitoring it. Like you've had to log in through their Instagram gets a flag, you know. Some of those apps can be ranked as getting new followers or trying to grow, which they don't like. So they'll just bring your performance right down or you'll randomly get blocked and you can't engage.
But I remember there was one guy talking to me and his mate told him that another guy unfollowed him. So that means this guy went his fucking mate's followers to check to see if another guy unfollowed him. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing in your time? Do
you know the crazy thing? Like I've unfollowed people because I watch their stories and I'm like, fuck. You know, don't need to see this shit. And I'll unfollow them, barely even know them. But I'll get a message on my personal account and be like, so rude, like you just unfollowed me, I'm unfollowing you. And I no word of a lie, this girl messaged me and she was like, that's so rude, lol. I'm unfollowing you now, lol. Good for you, have a good day. And I wrote back pathetic and a crying laughing face. And then another girl commented on my photo once and was like, unfollowed. And like a crying laughing face. And I'm like, unfollowed because I'm ugly or what? Like, what I get unfollowed for? Because it was just a short caption. There was nothing to it. And it was a selfie. And I was like, bitch. So I just, you know.
But that's what I mean. Like at the end of the day, like people take these social things so serious.
Yeah.
I remember when I had that viral TikTok that went out of me and Naya in the gym.
Did you get backlash?
1 in 20.
Like, oh yeah.
1 in 20 people. You'd get one that was just like,
I've had that on TikTok.
You careless fucking father. Other
having
ones,
her in a gym. And
you're just putting her up because you know you're trying to seek this and seek that. And
oh my God.
I bet you don't even have her on your profile. It's like she's fucking 70% of my fucking profile. You fuckwit. Like you just had to click my
Yeah.
page to find it, you know,
Yeah. I got that on TikTok. I put one video on TikTok and it was when I bought my car because for me, that was a milestone. I'm like 24, buying a new Range Rover for myself, you know, pat myself on the back. It was a year of business. I was like, I think that's pretty good. And the amount of grown men that were like, you know, on finance, like daddy's money and shit. And I'm just like, you sad motherfuckers.
But how do you flaunt your success? That's a good question. Actually, I didn't think of that. How do you flaunt your success without looking like a fucking wanker? Because for me, right, I saw that. I remember that post you did. And I liked it. I think I commented on it as well when you first got it. Yeah. And you're proud of yourself, which I could see.
I'm pretty sure you wrote congrats or something on there. And I was like,
I would have wrote something like that. Because I like to see people's success.
Yeah.
Even people I don't like, I like watching their success because it pushes me. I'm like, this fuck, we can do it.
I can do better.
I can do it. It's not a spiteful thing. I just look at them and go, look, fuck yeah, like they're going well.
Yeah.
And it pushes me to essentially go harder. So for me, my dream car that I've always wanted is a Mercedes C63. And I got it halfway through. I think I've had it for a year now, I think.
I'm pretty sure you got it last year, right?
Yeah. But I've never posted. I posted it once, a story. How do you
put it up?
How do you putting out with like a fucking dickhead? Because people do gravitate towards success.
Correct.
People, they get attracted to your lifestyle and you got to show things and whatever. Like the only reason why I ever wanted that car was because I used to watch all the 90s DVDs of all the bodybuilders turning up to the gym in their sick cars. So I just wanted to be that same dude.
Yeah.
You know, so I was inspired from that.
Yeah.
But I never ever got it to put it as, I've never actually put it as a post. I think I put it, I said once or twice in my story.
Yeah.
So how do you, I'm not saying I'm out here wanting to post it, you know, but there would, things like that can show, I guess they can show your success and people gravitate towards success. Like as in, you're not being a wanker, but when you drive up to two coffee shops next to each other, you're going to go to the busy one.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to the one that's dead, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure there'd be some sort of content that you'd have to put for your influencers, OnlyFans and coaches for that shit, yeah?
I can even speak on like a personal preference. So I put, for example, I've never sold anything on my personal page. It's always just been like random shit, whatever I'm getting up to. There's been no strategy to it, which is crazy considering my job. But I put up a early access page for my Content Queens course, which is like a confidence course. And I find that if I am a bit flamboyant with what I've got, or I've gone shopping and I've gone to LV and bought something or whatever, I put that up and then I put a sign up page after, 10 sign-ups done.
Really?
I put general life shit up, my breakfast or something like that, put a sign up, one click, nothing. They want what they don't have. So I guess it depends on if you're looking for reassurance from people on the outside from having those sorts of things, or do those sorts of things make you feel good, and that's like the biggest thing. I find the people who get triggered by my stuff for me doing well are the people doing shit. No one doing well writes back to a Louis bag and is like, lol influencer, like I've got friends who write that.
Well,
and I'm
someone
like,
that's doing better than you, they're making more money than you, so they have more of those Louis bags.
Yeah, they probably write and they'll be like, should have got the bigger one, and I think like there is ways that you can subtly do it if you want to subtly do it. A big thing that I say to a lot of like my coaches is perceiving greatness before you have it is your biggest marketing tool. Why would anyone want to go to someone who has no clients? And whether you know how to market that you do or you don't, that's your struggle point.
So what about the cats that go out and hire a Ferrari for the day and take photos with it?
People do that?
People do that.
Do they?
They do that.
Do you know what's funny? There's a guy who does Forex trading, I think, or something like that. And his missus I went to school with, she uploaded that they'd got engaged and she had this massive 6-carat rock and stuff, which is worth a fair few. And this isn't COVID, and he put up that he'd had to hire a private jet to go pick it up and all this stuff. And then I was actually reading on a news article the other day, because I was trying to find out if he was dodgy, that the police went to his house and were like, we never had, you submit an approval to leave the state and come back, but you put on your Instagram that you got a private jet to go pick up a ring. He'd never got a private jet to go pick up a ring.
Oh,
that was an old video from when he was actually looking at something.
Shame.
And he just put together this whole reel to be like, I'd went, private jet to pick up the ring.
So he had to admit he was lying.
Yeah.
Oh.
But because he's a nobody, it never really got out, or like there's another gentleman and he put up that he drives like a McLaren and a Porsche, but then a news article came out that he owes his mum $750,000 and she just sued him. And I'm like, there's a lot going on, you know? So it's maybe making sure you got no skeletons in your closet before you start going flamboyant cash around. But having that success and sharing it these days, I think the only way that's egotistical is usually when it's, you know, they're trying too hard, and it's normally when they can't afford the things that they're buying. That's when it starts to look like it's a bit full on, you know, every single picture they've got like something in the background, or they're like shopping day, like, you know, there's no concept to that.
That'd be more so the people that are like wearing expensive clothes, but they still live at their parents' house.
Yeah. Or I even find like, and this might just be me, I might see a girl that might have an LV bag that's worth 10 grand, but her car's worth 2. And I'm like, where were the priorities? You know, like your car, if it got in a crash, would smash you up, but you got a 10 grand bag. Like, I can't understand. And my self-pride would never let me do that, because I'd rather have something, I'd rather put that 10 grand into a car that's not going to eat me up if someone T-boned me, you know? So it's like, I guess everyone has their priorities, and so many of them these days are trying to sell it on the gram for the wrong reasons. Showing what you're doing in a way of motivating others, it's an easy thing, but showing it because you want to show off and make other people feel shit, or you want some reassurance from the outside, that's when you start to look like a bit of a wanker.
Where did you get the balls to leave your 50 grand job and take the plunge and move into the online space, which is heavily unpredictable and uncertain? You left a safety net.
Yeah. So when I started my business, I moved to Perth, like literally 2 months after.
Is that because you whipped?
I was in a long-term relationship.
You're whipped. Thank
with
you.
a wanker. Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't watch this. He knows he's a wanker. So I actually, like, I'd been with him for 2.5 years. He got a job opportunity, and pretty much he put it on the line, like, no relationship or you move to Perth. So I was like, I'm moving to Perth, because I was a dickhead. I didn't have confidence at that time. When I moved, I got a job as a marketing coordinator for an engineering firm, which is quite big and exciting and cool. I was building my business at that time, and it was actually like, when I did it, it was meant to just be a side gig, you know, like I was like, oh yeah, I'll just help like a person here and there. And then it just like grew really quick, and I was like, shit.
You fell in love with your side chick.
Yeah, the side bitch got me good. So then I started earning pretty much on par, and then I was like, this is getting a bit much. And then I started earning more than what I was earning at my job. So I was like, fuck it. I just thought I'd do it.
So what's your advice for someone in the same position that wants to leave their safety net to follow their dream?
I always like that safety net there until I feel like I'm at a place. So either got a bit of money in the bank, or I know I've got, you know, X amount of money for X amount of weeks. Like, I got notice periods and stuff like that on clients. So I know if all my clients were to cancel today, I got 2 weeks to, you know, sort it out. So I would say, like, build yourself enough on that side. You do lose your passion for that safety net pretty quick. When I was working for that engineering firm, the fucks for that engineering firm was zero. You know, I was just like, in, out, make me $1 and get out. Like, on my lunch break, I'd sit on my laptop, and it's just how it was. So I feel like create it so you got that stability coming out, and it's a smooth sail. It's not like fuck. Like, and I speak to a client about it the other day. She's under pressure at the moment. You know, she needs more clients to pay X, Y, and Z, or whatever her responsibilities are. And I'm like, get a safety net job. Like, straight off. I was like, get a safety net job. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, that's one stress gone. Why have like a million stresses when you could have one less, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Get a safety net job, whether it's working part-time or whatever, or get a job within that niche. Like, I was in marketing, so it was 6 and 2 3s. But every place I've worked in marketing, none of them were touching Instagram. And I'm like, you idiots.
Right, interesting.
They're all paying for ads.
And does paying for ads work?
Broad
question, I know.
Yeah, it's a hard road on ads. Like, it's a really hard road. Finding an agency is even harder. Like, if you can find an agency that can make you sales, go for it and give them millions, you know, because it's so hard to find. But now all the changes coming out, it's just getting harder.
So it's actually probably better to stay organic.
Yeah. If you can grow organic, like, I've never paid for a lead in my life in nearly 3 years of business, coming up 3 years. Never paid a lead. Money has not gone out. I've only started investing in new stuff for my business for like internal processes and stuff, like in the last 2 months. And that's it.
How do you put up links to get more clients without looking like you're desperate?
That comes with
about the Louis bag before, then you put up the question post that.
A lot of things
I've
that
never, sorry to cut you off. I've
Yeah.
never seen you put up and say, "Hey guys, need 5 clients to." you
because I don't.
Underlying issue is that I can't pay my rent and I'm broke, but I'm so busy I can only fit 5 people in.
My Range Rover's got no fuel in it. It's not registered at the moment. In case someone is watching, it is. But I guess that comes down to your audience. Like, how do you speak to your audience? Your audience is going to be completely different to a 25-year-old girl. So everyone wants to build a booty. Trigger points are huge, which people struggle with. Like, would you be able to tell me a trigger point of someone, your ideal audience?
A trigger point that I could offend, I probably could. If I started being all homophobic, because you're saying that I've got a lot of gays that follow me. So.
Okay, well, your ideal client's trigger point.
I think the ideal trigger point, that catches people for me is always education, because I do speak well on camera and I can demonstrate things well, and I put a lot of time into that side of things, and that doesn't even get the most likes, but people obviously trust my content and trust my work and things like that,
Yeah.
So as you said, I've never really been a person where I look and go, oh, that video that tutorial put up only got 50 likes.
Yeah.
Whereas the photo of me doing a most muscular gets 1,000, but I know the one that got 50 is probably more beneficial to me making money than the most muscular one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think now as well on stories, you need someone to relate to you to sell. So it's a lot less about like who you are, and it's a lot about like what is it, like what you are and what you can relate to. So if I, for example, was watching someone's story and they were writing about them having no motivation in the gym, but they're back into it, they were struggling tracking foods and blah, blah, because that's me right now. All that would make me go, oh, fuck, they understand, I'm going to sign up. They're going to be able to help me because they know my mindset. Where if I was to look at someone prepping right now and all I see is structure and them killing it,
interesting.
I might be like, fuck, that's not me right now,
Good point.
Too intimidating. So there's ways of like understanding your ideal audience and talking to them. Like, it's like the baby thing, not relatable, I click off. But she might have put a thing up next being like one-on-one Gen Pop coaching clients, but she lost me. So it's relatability to your audience and to your ideal clients.
Because even you, as well as you know me and the work we've done together, you still assume that I'm this picture perfect hardcore bodybuilder.
Yeah, like I said to you before when you said it's a lot of do as I say, not as I do. But you look the way you look because you must do as you say.
Yeah, not as much as what people think,
but you have for years coming into it.
Yeah. But I think, even just from me taking that away from this conversation today is me putting up more things of how I get myself out of ruts.
Yeah, because there'll be people in, I guess as well, your predicament where they are still got that quite muscle mass. They've had, they've competed and they've done this for years, and they might be sitting in that same place where they're not as, I guess, structured and stuff as what they used to be, but they don't know how to get back into it, or they don't know how to maintain it, or they don't know how to come to that feeling of like, oh, it's all good to, slow down a little bit. Remember when you were getting sick last year?
Yeah.
Like heaps. And that was a big point for you of being like, you got to stop.
That's what I'm thinking about right now, because I just said, that's when I came off the gear.
Yeah.
Got my heart checked, got some sperm frozen, got all my, just inside and out health checks done. And then later in the year, all these fucking bodybuilders are dying.
Yeah.
But I'm like, fuck, that's a sign.
Yeah.
That I'm the right route for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I've never really shared that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
remember, like, I was calling you every month and I'm like, I'm sick with something else and something else.
Yeah. You're
then
like, I
I
haven't been in the gym in 5 days. I can't train. I'm barely eating. And like, that's you think about, especially in your space, how many other men have gone through that and had to keep silent, or not known who's relatable, or not known who to go to be able to help them, coach them out of it to get back into it.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually why I got Olivia on here, because it's just a masterclass separate from me that I'm getting for free. So
free masterclass from Liv. He's writing all the ideas down. He's like,
Leigh's over here doing the sound, but he's actually got a notepad just writing it all down for me.
He's on there writing all the Instagram
So
ideas.
you got to think outside the box when you attack Olivia. How can people find you? Give everyone your socials.
Start inviting me on podcasts. So my business one is Envy Social and Co, and then my personal is Olivia Hodge. But yeah, business one's got all the education and stuff through it.
And probably the best to inquire for all your help.
Yeah. So there's actually a few changes coming in with applications and stuff like that, but they all get announced as they go.
As I said, guys, I've worked with Olivia for probably 18 months on and off, and I've taken a mountain of knowledge, and just what we've kind of touched on today has been, you know, just the kind of tip of the iceberg. I'm trying to shorten everything what I've learned over the last 18 months and share it for you guys. So, you know, she comes very highly recommended, and she does work with the best and the best in the industry that, you know, I look up to as well. So yeah, you got the socials and where to contact. Make sure you get across, and if you want to help your business grow and explode, she's the person to talk to.
Sam, you want to get like big and bulky and stuff and be intimidating, you know where to go?
Yeah. My OnlyFans is coming.
Only Sam's.
Only Sam's, yeah. With my underwear that I'm sending away, yeah. What is it? Iron Sam.
Iron Sam.
Instead of Iron Man, Iron Sam.
Yeah, I reckon that was quite good.
But yeah, until next time. Yeah,
you
until
get the logo on your chest.
Iron Sam.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
On my front pouch of my undies. Are we going too far? Until next time, guys. We're out.
Thank you.